My drinking affected a lot of my home life. I was a violent drunk when I used. Affected my relationship with my stepchildren and my wife. When I look back at it now, my using affected a lot of aspects of my life and involved a lot of people.
You know, I had a real serious anger problem, possibly because I had a bad, serious thought problem. I thought that people was mostly out to get me. So if you did something to me in the past, I would do everything in my willpower to get you back.
One of my core beliefs is that women are always gonna leave, so it doesn't matter. I wasn't in too many relationships with girls. I would just, use them. That was it. I didn't commit to anything, and the ones I did commit to, I turned their lives into a living hell because of my addiction and my core belief, and I didn't care.
We've explored our past. Now, it's time to think about today, the person you want to be, and the relationships you want to have. What is working for you now? What do you want to change? What kind of man do you want to become? To find these answers, you need to look at your values and core beliefs. Values are principles we follow as we live our lives. They shape and define who we are. Core beliefs are the thoughts behind our thoughts and influence our value system. Our core beliefs form the values that are most important and ring true for each of us. Many of us struggle with negative core beliefs that come from feelings of shame, self-hate, and anger. Anger isn't positive or negative. It just is. What makes it positive or negative is how we handle it. Anger can be a positive emotion when it motivates us to face a problem or change our behavior. But it can also cover up other emotions such as fear and sadness. When we express our anger in inappropriate ways, we get into trouble. Out of control anger is a threat to society, to our sobriety, and to our relationships. What can you do to challenge and change your negative core beliefs?
We have an event that occurs, we have thoughts and beliefs about these circumstances, these situations we in, and that's why it's all intertwined together. That's why it's, when we're talking about automatic thoughts, it happens rapidly. An event happens, I have a distorted thought about it, and if I don't have the skills to challenge that distorted thought, then I'm going to allow this feeling to come in. If I don't have the ability to challenge that, then the behavior is coming. Coming through treatment warrants a person the opportunity to have those skills to challenge your thinking distortions in order to challenge your belief system.
We just learned how to identify events, and that these events lead to thoughts. But there's one more piece to the equation. Those thoughts also lead to feelings, and feelings can lead to behaviors. Feelings result from specific thoughts about events. Let's look at an example of how this process works. Let's look at the example we talked about earlier, but let's add feelings now. There's the event. Your thoughts, your feelings, and the behavior. Just as the behavior seems to result directly from the event, it seems like the event causes feelings too. But this isn't true. An event triggers specific thoughts, and the thoughts cause feelings. Thoughts and feelings lead to the behavior. Remember what I said earlier. Our behaviors never bypass our brains. Also, not all thinking patterns are negative. For example, say you get a raise at your job. You think, if I get another raise, I'll be able to buy a new car. And so you work even harder. That's a positive action resulting from a healthy way of thinking. But if we fall into the habit of thinking or feeling in a distorted way, then we risk acting on negative thoughts or feelings by committing crimes, using substances, or both.
Part of challenging distorted thoughts is understanding that they're distorted, understanding what's distorted about them, figuring out a lot of times that this belief that I hold so dear and true has caused me harm in my life.
I realized that I held on to some beliefs that was completely irrational. Growing up, quickly we taught, if somebody hits you, you hit them back. If somebody offends you, you offend them back. If somebody hurt you, you hurt them back. Those things needed to be changed.
I transformed into a role model of a working man, paying my taxes, taking care of my kids, spending time with my kids, being with my family, respecting my family, respecting people, and being law-abiding, and being sober. The number one thing.